Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial, the first one of 2024, and it's a cake challenge cake. This means the Brigade have voted for a theme and they chose carved. I then created a mood board to give them a little bit of inspiration, and you can check out all their amazing pieces at the end of the video and vote for your favourite in the comments below. But for now, we're just going to jump straight in with this cute little Furby cake. I wanted to keep the carved element nice and easy so everybody can give it a go. So firstly, I'm just sticking my cake down to the board, and I'm not adding any filling here because nobody's going to be eating this. Just stack and fill your cake like you usually would. This particular cake has been sat in my studio uncovered for a few days, and I also accidentally overbaked it when I was on a call to Apple. So this is as tough as old boots. I'm just stacking them up 4 layers high, and if this was actually baked properly and filled properly, it will usually be a little bit taller. I'm just working with a 6-inch round, and because it's not as tall, I'm having to cut off more from the sides than usual to make it the right proportions. I'm just carving off a little bit at a time, trying to get a more rounded shape, and then I'm just sticking some of the excess offcuts to the top with some ganache to add extra height. As I said, this is not going to be eaten, so I didn't want to waste any of my buttercream on something that is this hard. So now we've got this slightly rounded shape that gets wider towards the bottom. Then you want to coat the whole thing in a layer of chocolate ganache. This just seals your cake in and allows it to firm up. I'm using this little acetate smoother, which you can bend between your fingers to create a contour. We're not aiming to get it fully smooth here, we're just helping this first layer along. As you can see, the first layer has now set, and as I'm adding the second layer, it's not moving or wobbling around. This is why I love ganache. There's a tutorial on how to make it, always linked in the description box. We're going to try and get this a little bit smoother, but don't worry too much because we are going to be adding a fur texture on the outside. Once everything is firmed up and set, I'm dampening the cake with water so the sugar paste will stick, and then I'm draping over some grey sugar paste. Everything I use will be linked in the description box. I'm just pulling out the pleats as I move around until they've all disappeared. This makes a great cake for anybody who loves a bit of nostalgia, just like me. And maybe they owned a Furby as a child too. You can just create it in their favourite colourway. I'm then just trimming off the excess from the bottom before pushing it under a little bit and trimming off a little closer. Now very roughly I'm adding on a pink patch of sugar paste to the front. This doesn't have to be too neat, and I'm just squashing on some black balls as my Furby had little black patches as well as the pink on the front. You then want to take the sharpened end of the Dresden tool and start scoring in lots of fur lines. I'm blending the pink up into the grey and then pulling the grey back down into the pink just to merge them. You want to go around the whole thing, and you want to work pretty fast so that your sugar paste doesn't start to dry out and crack instead of pulling in your fur lines. You'll see the black dots get bigger and wider, so keep this in mind when you're adding yours. This is one of the original Furbies that first came out, but I know they've released at least 2 different versions since then. Here it is all furry. Now you want to take a ball tool and start marking in a dent where the pink meets the grey for the mouth. After that, I've traced a template for the Furby's faceplate on some greaseproof paper. I just pulled up a picture of a Furby online and traced it from my computer screen. I'm then rolling out grey and marking in the lines to follow with my scalpel to cut. I've then placed this over the hole we made with water, and I'm adding in large indented circles for where I want the eyes to sit. The mouth is a ball of yellow, which we're just placing into the hole, and then I'm slicing the indent with a large knife in the centre. The eyes start as balls of white, slightly smaller than you need, and then I'm pushing it flat, filling all of that indented space. I'm just marking in a couple of the features on the faceplate, and then I'm adding a little cutout of the centre in black sugar paste to the top. I'm covering the board using the toilet seat method. It's always linked in the description box, but it just gives you a nice clean finish around the bottom of your cakes. Although, as this one is furry, you do want to go in and pull some of that fur back over the top. I'm just using a lilac colour because it's what I had to hand, but you can colour it any way you want. We've got the yellow colour again, and I'm just rolling chubby oval shapes and scoring 2 lines over the top with the Dresden tool to create the feet. Place these in front of your Furby and push them up against the fur. Next is the eyes. I've gone with this almost light denim colour, and I've mixed up some watery paint to match. I'm going in a little bit darker around the outside and that it's left a bit lighter on the inside. Then with an even lighter pale paint, I've gone in with a thin paintbrush, painting in strokes towards the centre of the eyes. With a black sugar paste, I'm placing blobs in the centre and squashing them out. This is what I think makes the Furbies look a bit creepy. It's how small that black bit is. It creates very piercing eyes. My Furby had a little pink tuft on top of his head, so I'm taking some more of that pale pink, leaving it in a large blob and starting to pull and attack it with the shell tool. I want it to look ragged, hence why I'm pulling right through to create lots of different layers of the fur and allowing some bits to break off. I want to chop this flat across the bottom and add it to the top of the head with water, and then I'm adding a smaller one in front and merging them together with the shell tool, just playing around until I'm happy with the overall look. And then rolling out some grey, keeping it quite chunky, and placing some more pink over the top. Merging them together just by rolling, there's no water here, as it should be sticky enough. And then you want to cut out a rough, soft triangle which creates one of the ears. I'm marking down the centre with a stitching tool so it shows that it's a fabric piece of the toy. I'm then holding the ear where I want to place it and pushing down a cocktail stick right where I want the centre of the ear to be. You then thread the ear down onto the stick and I'm pushing it into a slight curved position on the head. I'm marking in some fold lines just to make it a bit more plush-like. You want to do the same thing for the other ear. No Furby would be complete without those little eyelids that make them look completely unbothered. And some black painted lines for eyelashes. I did think about adding fake eyelashes to this, but painted ones work just fine. I then decided I want the very outer bits of the eyes to pop a little bit more, so I went round with a darker blue. And that's it, that's our nostalgic cake finished. As I said, this is the exact one that I used to own and I saved up all my money to buy one. After completing this cake, I posted it over on my Instagram and my mum sent me a message. She's actually found my old Furby and sent me a video of it chatting away. I had absolutely no idea we still had it. But stick around now to see what the Brigade has created from this mood board, and don't forget to vote for your favourite in the comments below because they do win a little prize. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I am slowly making my way towards 100,000 subscribers, and there'll be many more tutorials and behind the scenes cake vlogs to come. Thanks guys, see you in the next one.